Congratulations on this. And thank you for this, because, you know, it really irks me that we don't have enough of these types of films anymore. Yeah. What is it about this genre that you love so much? You tell the historical, but also you bring the sweeping love story in as well.
But because the films that moved me most, that educated me, that when I left the cinema, I felt not only had I seen a good film, but I felt passion about it, empathy, sorrow. You know, Schindler's List, The Killing Fields, Missing, you know, Hotel Rwanda. They all strive to tell the story of the every man or every woman character who, when plunged into a terrible situation, finds greatness within themselves and manages to survive and help others survive. Mm-hmm. Now, for me, there's no greater story to be told than that. That's a superhero for me. You know, I don't want to see anybody flying or walking through a wall. I want to see someone survive the Armenian Genocide, the Rwandan Genocide, prison in England when they're innocently convicted. Those are real stories, and I search those out, and I want the tradition, you know, the David Lean tradition, what Warren Beatty managed to do, obviously Spielberg in these great films he's made, that can't die. That can't die because of the profit margin in these films. And that, for me, the chance to make this film in that tradition was an honor.
Yeah, well, it was an honor to watch it.
Thank you.
And, listen, Oscar Isaac is just so riveting in this movie. Honestly, he's in almost pretty much every scene. Yeah. How did you know he was the one that you wanted to star in this?
Well, Christian was the first one to sign on. And then when you have him in a role, and we sent out the film to Oscar, and then I met him and I saw his commitment, and through Llewellyn Davis and Ex Machina, and so I've already seen his range. The man has a phenomenal range. He's a Juilliard trained actor, but the passion he brought to this, and also this incredibly handsome guy in a classic love story. I don't think he's quite played this romantic character before anywhere. So all of those, the combination of those factors convinced me right away he was the right man for the job.
And Christian, I mean, he kind of surprised me in this too, because we haven't really seen him do something like this either.
Well, I mean, tell me, other than doing two Batmans, have you seen anything that Christian's done is the same as the last time? Mm-hmm. He's him and Daniel Day-Lewis are the great chameleon actors of our time. And if you look from American Psycho through, The Fighter, Batman, American Hustle up to this, Christian's just able to disappear into a character. And with this one, he had a great identification with the journalist, who was in the field, willing to tell the story, trying to get it out there, and yet having, huge empathy with what was the victims.
Yeah, and also, I just can't even imagine how much research goes into something like this. What was your prep like for something?
Well, a lot of reading and going to Armenia, going to Istanbul, a lot of footage. Actually, YouTube becomes a great resource now because there's really old film on there, and a lot of stuff that you can dig into. But a lot. I mean, the veracity of the film with the historical events has to be perfect, exact, because that's the deconstruction of films because of their lack of veracity or changing key events is something I'm acutely aware of.
Yeah, there's obviously so many heartbreaking moments in this film, but for me, when they're being chased in the forest and what he sees, how do you shoot a scene like that? Say cut and then let it go. I can't imagine that you can.
Well, I don't know that. On that day was pretty emotive for everyone because we had a lot of Armenians among the crew and consultants, and Angela Sarafian, several of the others, and at the same time you're relying on Oscar and Christian to go to a place that you can't, really hard to ask an actor, and you basically give them the space and let them go for it. And to Oscar's credit, he did it 3 times. The first time was what we used, but to get your headspace into that. And I had it with Don Cheadle on Hotel Rwanda as well. But that's what great actors can do. And they become, their humanity just pours out of them. And the important thing about that scene in particular was that it would not dwell on anything gory or blood or whatever. It's the pathos of it, the silence. Because this is a PG-13 film,
Yes.
that's important for teenagers to see, for anyone who's squeamish about the notion that this might be some sort of horror film. It's far from that at all.
Yeah, absolutely. Charlotte Le Bon. I mean, beautiful Montreal girl. What brought you to her?
Well, actually, Steven Spielberg had written about her in The 100-Foot Journey, and then I saw her on a French TV show and immediately said, this woman has got what it takes for this role.
She's beautiful. I mean, everybody. It's such a just heart-wrenching. But thank you so much. It was
Thank you.
an unbelievable
Appreciate
story,
it.
and thank you for telling it.